is up, you guys, and welcome to the Chosen League podcast, where Fire Sports content is the name of the game. I'm your host, Devon. Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe, hit that notification bell so you can be notified every time I upload an episode. Watch this episode all the way to the end because I don't want you guys to missing out what I have in store for you today. Breaking news: Dennis Allen has been fired as head coach for the New Orleans Saints. Yes, the Allen era is over, and now an interim head coach who is coming in now, Darren Rizzi, who will take on the responsibility as head coach and basically try to bring some success to this Saints organization. And it's looking rough right now for the Saints. I mean, possibly their season is over. Chris Olave has a second concussion, and in his second concussion he received, he had to be carted off the field. Man, it's just crazy. But anyways, before I go more in depth about that, question for discussion: will the Saints find a head coach to replace Sean Payton and still be successful? Because what we know right now, it's not looking too hot. Dennis Allen, as we speak, his whole history, he's been a coordinator for the longest, and now Sean Payton has left the Saints. He is now a head coach. He's had he's had his years with the Raiders before he went to the Saints. 2012 to 2014, 36 games in total. 8 and 28 was his record, and he was fired after week 8. That's got to sting. But as you know, like just like with McDaniels when he was the head coach for the Raiders, he ended up being better somewhere else. So there's a possibility that can happen. And then, as you know, he moves on. Allen moves on to the Saints. Spent 3 years with the Saints. 18-25. Not really wasn't his best year, but 2023 he was 9-8, and that's when they missed the playoffs. But let's start off with the Saints owner. He had some stuff to say about Dennis Allen, and here it goes. Dennis has been part of our organization for many years. He is highly regarded within the NFL. He has been extremely loyal and professional, and most importantly, an excellent football coach for us. All of this makes today very tough for me and our organization, New Orleans owner Gail Benson. So as we know, yes, it comes to a tough decision when you have a guy like Dennis Allen who is well respected in the organization and who also, he's loyal. He's loyal to the core. He doesn't change his mind. He sticks with the game plan. And plus, I understand it's hard for them because of he brought that professionalism. He did the little stuff, showing up, making sure he had a plan for the team. But I wouldn't say he was an excellent coach, and I will go more in depth with that. But here with the players on Dennis Allen. So here it reads: in the wake of the move, Nick Underhill of New Orleans football published a story about everything that went wrong during the Allen's tenure, painting a picture of a coach in an impossible situation whose every move seemed to backfire. Even when things worked, it was just a seemingly short time until they stopped working. He had a short fuse, he had a moment where things were going good and then turned out for the worse. Allen used a tough training camp to help the team get off to a 2-0 start with two blowout wins, but then as injuries mounted, hard the team stopped practicing hard during the season as the losses started to pile up. Unsurprisingly, players tired of hearing Allen say play Saints football as this was all happening. Last year, as they went 9-8 and missed the playoffs, it was another slogan that was overused. Behind the scenes, cracks started to show during the season. Players griped about a lack of accountability and felt that Carr was treated by a different set of standards than everyone else. The message has also grown tired. Allen often told the players to keep chopping wood, and players started to mock the phrase. Even with the losses, it was players tiring of Allen that apprehendedly did him in. According to Underhill, Saints owner Gail Benson reached out to players last week, meeting with some and trading emails with others. If Allen had support in the locker room, it sounds like Benson didn't find it. Multiple players told her that the program was failing and that changes weren't just needed, but urgent. That right there tells you, that just summarizes why Dennis Allen got booted, why he got fired. Because you you have to think, let's look at it like this though. But he did learn, he was under Sean Payton at one point. So play Saints football, he got that from Sean Payton. He took a little bit out of Sean Payton's blueprint and added it to his blueprint and made his thing. But when you're a head coach of a team, okay, you got a 2-0 start. Kudos to him. Great. But then when players stop practicing hard, stop going hard in practice because of the losses and the injuries, you as a coach, if look at the Detroit Lions, they went out there, and when Hutchinson, their best edge rusher, got hurt, they went and got another edge rusher as a replacement. So when Hutchinson comes back, they can either play guys on both edges or have him as a replacement. So when they can switch him and Hutchinson out. But as a head coach, yeah, you got to come up with a new game plan so you don't fall back into the trap of losing and losing. Yes, losing hurts. It's not great. It takes a toll on your confidence. And looking at it from the players' perspective, they want to win the game. Dennis Allen didn't even go up to the organization and say, "Hey, we got these players injured." Matter of fact, get the players off the practice squad and see what they can do and give them a go. And then also bring in some players to bring in some competition and have people compete for the starting spot. But he didn't even do that. He just rolled with the punches, and guess where it got him? You The lack of accountability. And then this also reminds me where they said that, Derek Carr was getting a set of other standards that was way different from the team. And this reminds me of the Pete Carroll and the Russell Wilson experiment when he was in Seattle. And you had Marshawn Lynch. You had the Legion of Boom. Everybody, everything that went on went through Russ. Russ was able to have his way. And it's looking like it's been the same thing with Derek Carr. And then having the owner saying, yeah, he was an excellent coach. I disagree. He wasn't an excellent coach. And at the same time, you even talked to players and emailed players just to see if he had support in the locker room. Well, you didn't find it because the proof is in the pudding. Dennis Allen does what Dennis Allen does. And look at it here. That one game when the Saints played the Buccaneers, they're so busy trying to pass when their run game has been effective. When you have a guy like Alvin Kamara, you got Alvin Kamara out there running like he's a receiver. Yeah, you can use him on plays to run routes, but 9 times out of 10, if your passing game ain't working, switch it to the run game and get it going because I know Alvin Kamara can get yards and score touchdowns and get down the field when y'all need him. They had Jameis Winston at one point, booted him. Then they got Derek Carr from the Raiders. He didn't really have any success with the Raiders, and he's certainly not having it with the Saints. And look at it now, Chris Olave, 2 concussions, and then also Rashid Shaheed, he was hurt. Derek Carr came out had an oblique injury during that game against the Kansas City Chiefs at home, and good thing they end up getting another receiver, Marquez Valdez Scantling, who was a receiver for the Chiefs at one point. But you got to understand though, like the Saints haven't gone anywhere with Dennis Allen. He was 4-12 in his 2 years, and then after that, 2022, he was he was 7-10, and then after a 7 game losing streak, they decide, hey, we're moving on from you. And Darren Rizzi is the interim head coach. So hopefully they can get some success going here, because Dennis Allen seems to me has not been the guy. I understand that the owner is like, yeah, he was an excellent coach. Maybe the professionalism that he brought out, the little things he was doing, yes, cool. But when it boils down to it, and also as a head coach, when you lose your players, the players lose confidence in you. It's hard to get that back. And hopefully the Saints can turn this around. Hopefully Dennis Allen has success somewhere else. He just wasn't a fit there. with the Saints. But hopefully he's a success somewhere else. That is all for today's episode. Once again, like, comment, subscribe, hit that notification bell so you can be notified every time I upload an episode. I'm Devin, and I'm signing off.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show.